So today marks 12 months since we purchased the boat. 12 months ago today we signed papers on one of the most exciting things we've ever done and the most daring thing we've ever done. And so today what we thought we'd do is tell you full disclosure with regard to the cost of the boat and what we spent so far and what we spent our dollars on. And it's our hope that it'll help somebody else make a decision to buy a boat or not to buy a boat. I don't know if it's going to be encouraging or disappointing to hear the news.
I can't believe it's been a year. It's amazing. Day one, hauled out 9.5 weeks of some pretty grueling experiences. It was so hot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so we're in downtown La Paz at a marina. We had it hauled out 9.5 weeks, middle of summertime. It was well over 100 degrees by 8 o'clock in the morning. And humidity was just massively high. I don't know, 60% or something. And so it was just dreadful. And we did so much work on the boat ourselves within this hot house. And it was really bad. We had no air conditioning.
This is a really tough life. Fixing up a boat on the hard in La Paz in the middle of the summer, which is their off season because it's so blessed hot that it's hard to just breathe, let alone physically exerting yourself. We're still living the dream.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
This is our first boat we've ever bought. So we learned a lot. All of the contractors we had to meet with, discuss details, working out timelines, the physical labor of being on the hard and climbing up the ladder several times a day. And when the ladder was removed, climbing over scaffolding to get to the top.
It didn't help matters much that we were promised to be done with all of our work on the hard between 4 and 6 weeks.
9.5
weeks later, we just got out of there. Yeah, we aged a couple of years during that 9.5 weeks, but we're here to talk about it. We didn't have a legitimate survey done on the boat, so we did our own self-inspection on many things. We did hire an electrician to come on board and look over some of the systems.
Verbal eye-to-eye handshake with the previous owner that said everything worked on the boat, but maybe a few switches. And
those were his exact words.
Yeah.
Oh, everything works, maybe a few switches here or there. But if you've looked at any of our videos, especially the early ones, you'll see that heads didn't work. Refrigeration was spotty. He ran the AC just long enough to show us that they worked. I mean, he knew the boat and knew exactly what to show us and what not to show us.
Our final inspection was just to check the hull to make sure it was safe. That was a really big deal to make sure there's no soft spots and major blisters that could cause future issues.
And he gave us a green light on the hull, and so we were pretty satisfied that we had something that we could work with, and so we accepted the purchase on that day. So we kept the boat on the hard. We could be blamed for not having a legitimate survey done, but you know, this boat came with a lot of paperwork. In fact, it came with paperwork clear back to 1984 when it was first purchased. And that paperwork included a couple of surveys. One the previous owner had done, and they were both, seemed to me, very superficial. You know, there was not any sort of in-depth survey done, so we just didn't think that it was worth the money that we would spend on a survey, especially for a 65-foot long boat. I mean, they don't just give those away.
Anyway, then the day came, 9.5 weeks later, and we splashed. Man, that was an exciting day. A lot of anxiety, but getting into the travel lift and being driven over to be splashed. They lower us into the water. It's just so exciting. Then the engine wouldn't start.
Yeah, that was fun. I had to call our electrician. Didn't know why nothing happened when we turned the key. So he drove over and got the thing going.
We finally own a boat and we're sitting in the water and then
sure looked and felt different.
Yeah.
We spent hundreds of hours on the boat, but it was on the hard, and now all of a sudden
we're in the
boat's way smaller and it's rocking and moving back and forth. So it was quite an experience. That was a good day that day.
It was a good day. That first night, just sitting there, gosh, by the time we finally got everything situated, well, mostly situated, it was like 8 o'clock at night, and we were sitting down for the first time that day, having a glass of champagne to toast that we were in the water. But that was epic, an epic day. Very, very exciting. That was the first day, though, of about 4 months that we were stuck in La Paz because one system after another, we were realizing for the first time, was not working.
Hurricane season was coming up on us, and so we thought, okay, let's splash. Let's get the heck out of here. We'll go north where we're going to be safe from the hurricane. So But like Jess is saying, we soon realized that, you know, this boat isn't dependable enough to go anywhere. So it was 4 months.
4 months.
4 months.
At anchor
at
in La
anchor.
Paz. We did survive Hurricane K, which thankfully did not come straight through La Paz, but we got the aftermath.
We got some really high winds at anchor out there. And so at that point, we got to test our 70-pound Delta on 200 feet of half-inch chain, which held remarkably well. So
it did.
Very pleased about that.
The second most exciting day was the maiden voyage, which also happened to be on my birthday, so that was a double bonus to me. But that was so exciting to be able to leave La Paz for the first time with our boat. We didn't make it very far because we had a major overheating of our engine.
Yeah,
oh gosh,
holy cow. Yeah, we had to. The impeller at that point had been sat in the same spot for so long that it wasn't pushing any water hardly. So we had a lot of steam coming out the exhaust, and the temperature got really hot. We could only motor at 2.4 knots was top speed because we had 2 inches of barnacles on the propeller. And in fact, when we first fired that thing up, it didn't move forward. And we thought, oh my gosh, there's something else broke. And we looked back and there's this giant cloud of, you know, busted barnacles and everything.
I think we can both agree that the worst day in this last 12 months, finding out all of the systems that were broken, the toilets, the refrigerator, the generator, the water maker, everything that needed to be fixed. We didn't even realize that we were out of water until we were desperate for a cool down shower that evening.
You know, we ran out of water in the middle of the shower, and our dinghy was broke too, so we couldn't go to shore.
We could not go to the beach to cool down. It was already a long and very hot day.
That was a pretty significant evening.
It was. I think we almost gave up that day. I mean,
yeah. We were on the fence for sure.
We were.
Trying to figure out what in the world we have done here.
Even with all of the really tough moments of living on a boat and working on a boat, there have been some unbelievably amazing moments. That first night we saw bioluminescence in the bay. We'd never seen anything like that. That was incredible. And since then we've seen it a dozen more times throughout
it's quite
Sea of
common.
Cortez.
Just about every place you anchor in any sort of bay.
The beautiful beaches that you go to, sometimes deserted, no one else is around, you have a place to yourself. The sea life down below, having our friends and family on the boat with us is wonderful. Mm-hmm. To all of the new friends we've met along the way.
Yeah, one thing that's been really great is when we sailed down to Cabo, we had the winds were just right. We had just the jib out, and we were sailing at 8.9 knots. It was fantastic, and it was downwind, and it felt like we were just
sailors.
Sailors. Yeah, it was really good.
And catching our first fish from the back of our boat.
Well, that same trip we caught a 38, 39-inch mahi-mahi.
That was amazing. There has been some really amazing moments on this boat, which thankfully outweigh the hard times. I mean, there are definitely some times where you are literally ready to throw in the towel and how much can we get for this boat and where's the quickest place we can sell it. But once you think back and remember all of the wonderful moments, I think we're ready for another year. What do you think?
Well, I didn't think I'd hear that. Wow. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
On this boat's been kind of like playing golf, which is a super frustrating game. But you might go 18 holes and it's been dreadful. But when you hit that one perfect shot, it's like, yeah, baby, I like this. I can do that again. So that's kind of like here. There's a lot of bad days, but there's a lot of good days mixed up with it. So you kind of tend to forget about how dreadful it was when you're in the moment of a good time. As promised, we're going to get into the cost of this little adventure. So maybe that helps you, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it dissuades you, maybe it persuades you.
In that haul out, we did a complete paint job on the exterior.
Yeah, the exterior paint was pretty bad, and so they did some fiberglass repair. With regard to the haul out, that was mostly the paint job, but then we were told that every blister was extra. So we found like 100 blisters, 50 per side or something. And so we had to pay for those to be repaired, ground out and filled in. They came to me one day and said, "Oh, do you want your bowsprit painted?" I said, "Well, of course I want the bowsprit painted." Turned out that was extra, which was just a shock. Yeah, there's like 6 strainers down there, and they were all completely packed and rotted and just horrible. We got a picture of it. It's just disgusting.
Oh my gosh. Oh my word. Ooh. Oh gosh, I'm gonna gag. Okay, you can put that one on. Go wash your hands.
They did take all those apart and refit those strainers with new baskets and checked the plumbing and put new fittings on there if they were broken. They put in a coat of ablative anti-foul paint on the bottom. One thing we had done at the yard that was an extra was some stainless steel work on the bowsprit. The stainless steel rail around the bowsprit was wobbly and those connections had to be redone. So we had the yard hire a local fabricator to take care of that business. And also the chain roller was worn out, clear to the bare bones, and so we had a new one of those fabricated.
Isn't that the thing that's not working right now?
Yeah. Look at that.
Are you kidding? We had them put a new one on and it's already bad?
Yeah.
Is that normal?
I don't think so.
Wow.
Also, the yard replaced a bracket that held the steering. The cables went straight down from the helm and turned 90 degrees towards the rudder. That support bracket for the pulley was very rusted. We had it replaced, which is a very difficult job. So we were quoted $23,000.
Mm-hmm.
Before we got out of there, it was $30,200.
And that was just the boatyard. While we were on the hard, we hired lots of contractors, one of which was canvas work. We had dinghy chaps made. We had new canvas upholstery in the cockpit. We had a few canvas cover-ups around the hatches. We had
stack packs and lazy jacks installed by a local contractor there in La Paz. The riggers installed a new anemometer at the top of the mast, complete with new cable down the middle of the mast. Riggers installed new working backstays for the mizzen. They tightened up the steering quadrant underneath the master bedroom because our steering is cable operated, and there was some loose fittings there, and we had them replace the cabling for the steering. We did hire a local woodworker to strip and varnish a lot of teak inside the boat and outside the boat. 2 different electricians came on board to work on the starter for the generator, alternator for the main engine. We had refrigeration people come on board, get our air conditioning units working and the refrigeration for the refrigerator and freezers. So we have a 14-foot Zodiac with a 50-horse Yamaha on it, and it's been quite problematic. It had been in storage for over 2 years out in the sun in a dirt parking lot, so it was in pretty bad shape. So we had everything from bad fuel to a necessary tune-up, and so we had all that work done here in La Paz as well.
There's going to be basically a miscellaneous category here, and that is just loads and loads of parts. Just a little bit of comforts of home.
Sure, we replaced all the lights with LED. There was some fluorescent tubes here, apparently from original, I don't know. Most of the lighting is new here in the boat, so we could save power. Yeah, we're into the watermaker guy a lot of money. It used to be a completely automated system. It is a semi-automated, semi-manual system now because he didn't know how to adjust the computer board on it.
Yeah.
So. And I don't either, so we'll get to some place with competent help and we can get that looked at.
We also had to have the dive compressor rebuilt because it was in very poor shape.
Now that guy was a success story. We had a great guy working on our dive compressor.
Yeah.
And it is
He's
up and going, and
fantastic.
it makes air, and it's a really neat luxury item to have on any sailboat.
Yeah. We did add a little bit of solar as well. That has made this trip north possible with that one little solar panel, and we can't wait to add more.
640 gallons fuel capacity, and we have spent somewhere around $3,200 on fuel. We have one full tank still. Hope it lasts.
A really long time. We do try to sail as much as we can until we just
We do. We
can't
sail
do it.
everywhere we can go.
Yeah.
but it takes a little bit of wind to move this big girl. So if we don't have 5, 6, 7, 8 knots of wind, it's just a little bit frustrating.
In the 1 year on Blue Pearl, we have anchored in 34 different anchorages and have seen some pretty incredible things.
We have actually done, over the last half a year, quite a little bit of traveling. We think it's only, well, I added it up today, it's only 975 miles total, 975 nautical miles. We've kind of got our feet wet here, and it's not all bad. So we're going to continue to do it until we both look at each other and say we've had enough.
Yeah.
In addition to the purchase price of the boat and the closing costs, we have spent $72,000 on this boat so far in 12 months. We're still not done. We have a long list of other things we need.
Could easily add up to another $30,000, and that's not even getting everything that we need or want.
We're hopeful that with this boat on the hard during hurricane season, going to the United States, and bring back some things that we need for the boat, like a windlass, a new anchor,
More solar,
another charge controller,
cockpit enclosures.
a sewing machine so we can make our own cockpit enclosures.
Yeah.
We found the price for cockpit enclosures astronomical in La Paz and couldn't do it. It was going to be somewhere around $10,000 for cockpit for clears, one layer of clear plastic cockpit enclosure, $10,000. So we're going to buy our own $1,500 sewing machine and a few bolts of material and do it ourselves.
Yeah, that's the plan anyway. Our intention going into buying a boat was to remain debt free. That is something that's very important to us. It's been very important to us for a very long time, and we tried to stick as close as we could to the budget.
Yeah, when we started out doing this, we had a budget of $250,000. So we bought the boat for $200,000. That left $50,000 for repairs and upgrades, and so we are over that amount because we have spent $73,000 for upgrades so far. And we're not committed to doing this for any certain time. We're taking it month by month, basically. But at this point, we do want a little break, so we're heading up to Penasco. We can pull it out on the hard and take a little break, somehow get down to La Paz, pick up our truck that's in storage there, and get back to the States and go to a Costco.
Go see family. Go see family.
I mean, see family. That's what I meant. I want to see family.
And then we shop.
Then go shopping.
So that's it in a nutshell. Just like last time we took a little break off the boat, we were pretty excited to get back. And I know that that's going to be the same way. And start off on another whole adventure.
We've had some really epic times on this boat.
Yeah. Let's have some champagne.
In celebration of 12 months of high highs and low lows. Cheers.
Cheers. Here's to the high highs being better than the low lows.
Amen.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers to the people who have watched our videos
Commented.
and enjoyed them.
and commented.
And commented.
I love it. I so appreciate it. They mean a lot.
Those people who subscribe to our channel.
I know, it's amazing. We really appreciate all of the encouragement and the help we get in the comments. The feedback is wonderful. And we just feel like we're cared for, and we appreciate it. Cheers to all of you. Thank you for following along this crazy, amazing adventure.